When you hear this sound, it can only mean one thing. That's a Pontiac Ram Air 4 under the hood of the muscle car of the week. The GM intermediate-sized A-body platform really lent itself to high-performance cars. In fact, this is the platform that spawned the Pontiac GTO. And this week's Muscle Car of the Week is this 1969 Pontiac Gto Convertible. And it's got a bunch of things going for it. I mean, first of all, it's a GTO, so that means it's got some suspension upgrades and brakes and some styling elements that make it cool. Plus, being a convertible makes it a lot more fun. The real strong element on this car is the Ram Air 4 400 cubic inch V8 and 4-speed transmission combination that makes this a very, very high performance car, and it also makes it very rare because we think they made about 40 of these Ram Air 4 GTOs that had a 4-speed in a convertible. 1969 was the second year for the redesigned GM A-body platform. And this GTO really has some unique styling elements. When you look at the car, especially the convertible, the Coke bottle design is really pronounced, meaning you can see the bulges on the quarter panels and the contour line of the bottom of the door that, you know, they say looks like a Coke bottle tipped on its side. It's an aggressive, curvy style that, although it shares the underpinnings with the Chevelle and the Skylark and the Cutlass and 442s, the GTO was definitely very distinctive looking and doesn't look to be a similar car to those. But one notable GTO styling element is missing on this car, and that is the fact that it has non-hideaway headlights. A lot of people opted for the hideaway hidden headlights on 69 GTOs. This car doesn't have them, which seems kind of unusual, especially on a convertible. You'd think, you know, this car would have everything they could throw at it, but not so. The interior on this GTO is a great place to spend some time. You've got a pair of really comfortable bucket seats, wood rim steering wheel, gauges in the dashboard, plus the tack on the hood so you can keep track of what's going on as you run that Ram Air motor through the gears. It's a 4-speed. You got a 4-speed console with an armrest. But one of the best part about this car is the fact that the top goes down. And with a Ram Air 4 400 under the hood, you've got sunshine on any cloudy day. The other thing you notice when looking at the car is the color. This is called Champagne. It's code S63. It's a very unique color on GTOs. You don't see very many of them, and I'd venture to guess that there probably isn't very many other Ram Air 4 4-speed convertibles done in this champagne color. But it looks really cool with the white top and the black interior and the general lack of chrome on this style. It looks very sophisticated. In fact, this body style, you know, looks like it could pass for something today almost with the way that the lines are cut in it, but definitely stands out in the champagne color. The sticker on the hood bulge says Ram Air 4, and what that means is that this GTO is sporting the 400 cubic inch Ram Air 4 V8, which is the one of the baddest motors Pontiac ever produced for the street. These things have an incredibly lopey cam, high flow cylinder heads, lots of go-fast parts inside to make any of these cars a stout performer on the street. It's got a 4-bolt block, heavy-duty oiling system, forged crankshaft and pistons. Everything about the bottom half of the engine is built to tighter specifications and is meant to be heavy-duty to withstand high RPM and constant abuse. These made 370 horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque, so it was definitely a strong performer. But they owe the majority of their great performance to the top end of the motor. The Ram Air 4 cylinder heads are an oval port design. They've got larger swirl polished valves, and the Ram Air 4 camshaft is the stuff of legends. When you hear this car running and idling, it does not sound like something that came out of the showroom with this lumpy of a camshaft. It sounds like a race car. I mean, it's got a really awesome sound. And the specs on the cam, it's 520-inch intake and exhaust, but it's 308 degrees of intake duration and 320 degrees of exhaust duration. So that's where you get that big choppy lope. It's a high lift cam and a big long duration, so it sounds like a monster. Performance-wise, with the 4-speed, these cars came with a 391 gear from the factory, so you could run these things low 13-second quarter miles all day long, even though they did weigh in, I don't know, over 3,600 pounds, especially being convertible, being a little bit heavier. But if you put good tires on them, and thanks to that free-flowing exhaust and the aluminum intake and specially tuned quadrijet carburetor and that big cam, these things were great performers on the street. And what's even cooler is that they think there has been less than 45 of these Ram Air 4 4-speed convertibles ever built. And this one is one of the coolest cars in the Brothers collection. This is a restored car that you find in the Brothers collection. It is almost 100% accurate. I think there's a couple little details on this car that might not be as they were from the factory. I don't know if those red center caps are the correct ones. I think they were supposed to have black ones in '69. And the wheels are 14x7s on this, Rally 2 style wheels. It should have had 14x6s. You know, a minor detail that would easily be rectified to make the car, perfectly correct. But what I think is fun is you look at a car with this much power, this much style, the 4-speed, the convertible, the whole thing, and new, it was only about 4,600 bucks. So it's hard to believe that, especially looking at today's money, how much you could have gotten back then. Surely not a cheap car back then, but you pay a lot more for it today. These Ram Air 4 cars really cause some trouble. You can see more pictures of this on our website at musclecaroftheweek.com. And don't forget to check out the Facebook page. Not only will we put up a teaser of next week's car, but you can share this with all of your Pontiac-loving friends. And don't forget the YouTube channel, because if you subscribe there, you'll never miss an episode of Muscle Car of the Week. Now to get them to let me drive it.